Good evening, everyone. Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Tonight, our guest is Coach LATREA RUSS. She is a disability empowerment coach, also life coach. She's going to be here in a moment. I am going to put her book up. We don't have her book, but we will talk to her today. We're doing some Q&A with her. I saw her story on, hello, thank you for coming in. I saw her story on Facebook, a wonderful story, and her book is titled, hopefully you guys can see it, but her book is titled, It's Not What It Looks Like. I'm Not Doing That Anymore. And so she'll be coming on in a few. I'm going to send her actually at 8 o'clock, but let me just send this link to her. Again, I'm Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents. That is our, let's see, I'm getting up here. That is our book. Let's see, our book page. Let's make sure I get up here right. Our book page is ESP Book Chats, and the ESP Presents is our business side. I'm trying to make sure I see her here. LATREA, if you're out in the audience, I look for you. Let me put this here. So far, I am not seeing you up here. Let me see. It's not coming up, but come on up. Let's see, where are you? Asked to get on my video. Let's see. And I know that we are friends. Let's see. LATREA. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. Let's see what is going on. I don't see. Let's see. It comes up like this. Again, thank you guys for being here. Let me see. I hope that you're out there. I'm not seeing you on this invite. Come on in and I will grab the invitation. Let's see. It's just not coming up on my end. She'll be here in a moment. Hopefully she can find me. Let's see. Hold on, guys. I don't know why her name did not come up here. Hopefully she's able to see it. Bear with me, guys. Let's see. Hello, Dr. Robert and LATREA, Coach LATREA. She'll be our guest here tonight. Saying hello to you. Let's see. She should be on in a few moments. Thank you for coming out, Dr. Robert. I'm just not seeing it on my... Oh, there it is right there. I see you there. Come on in. Hit that, get that notification, hit that bell. Yay! You got it right away. I love that yellow. Thank you for
I didn't know
coming.
where to log in at. I was like, okay, so because I've never done Instagram Live before, so I was like, so where do we log in at? I was like, 'cause I've never done Instagram Live before, so I didn't know.
Oh, that's okay. I was thinking, but you did fine for not knowing. You did absolutely great. So you are here. I guess bring your camera up because I don't have all of you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, nope, nope. Don't turn it. Don't turn
Oh,
it. You're good.
okay.
Just bring it
So how
up.
do I bring it
There
up?
you go. There,
Oh, I
there you
like that.
go.
Okay. All right. That's
Okay.
the
You
work.
just got it. You're just on the spot. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
saying yes. And I know we only met right here. I saw your story on Facebook. I was so intrigued with your story. I said, I want to reach out to her. I didn't know that you was going to say yes, but thank you for saying yes. And so for those of you just coming on, Dr. Robert, thank you for coming in. And those who came on, Coach LATREA Russ, she's a disability empowerment coach and author and also an advocate for disability. Do tell the folks about yourself and then we will get right into this.
Okay. Well, as she said, my name is LaTrea RUSS. I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area. I currently reside in Wilmington, North Carolina with my husband. I also have an 18-year-old daughter who is currently away at school. Let me see. I'm a teacher. I teach pre-K. Well, no, yeah, pre-K, preschool, pre-K. I've been doing that for about 19 years. I'm also an author, speaker, coach. And I've also recently gone back to school to get my doctorate. So I have a master's degree in psychology. A bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in education, and I'm going to get my doctorate in family counseling.
Oh, congratulations to you. Tell us what your diagnosis is and tell us the backdrop of your story.
Okay, well, I was diagnosed with a rare craniofacial difference. It's called Pfeiffer syndrome, and it's spelled Piffier. I would say, according to research, 1 out of 10 children will have a facial difference of some sort, and it has to do with the mutation of the chromosomes. They don't mutate the correct way. My particular disability came about in 1975. I want to say, yeah, 1975. I was born 1979, so it was fairly new when I was born. And basically, what it is that um your bones don't fuse together properly. If you know anything about our body and the structures of our body, we have our bones in our body, and they're supposed to fuse together a certain way that allows us to move and maneuver and so on and so forth, all throughout our body. Well, if you have Pfeiffer syndrome, the bones don't quite fuse as well as they should or the way that they should. So for me, mine was in my skull area. Um, I had areas in my skull where I didn't have any bone. So my brain was exposed in certain areas of my skull because I didn't have any bone in that area. And also, we had it where your brain essentially is supposed to, not the brain, I'm sorry. Your skull is essentially supposed to protect your brain. That's essentially the reason for your skull. It's supposed to protect your brain from any type of brain damage or anything like that. Now, what happens is you have stems that go all the way around your skull that prevent your skull from sitting on top of your brain. When I was born, I didn't have any of those. So my skull was practically sitting on top of my brain when I was born. Um,
Mm.
it also causes hearing loss, vision loss, webbed fingers. I don't know if you can see my fingers. My fingers are webbed together. My toes are kind of on top of each other. So it just causes like little things like that. There are three types. There's type 1, type 2, and type 3. Type 1 is the mild case. Type 2 is semi-mild. Type 3 is the more severe case. And people can die from type 3. Um, Matter of fact, Prince, if you remember the singer Prince, his son had
Yes.
type 3, and his son died from it.
Yes, I do remember. And what type would you have? One or
I
two?
have type 3.
Type you have type 3, so you are a blessing,
Yes, ma'am.
total blessing.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us, tell us about, like I said, the backdrop, uh, how you were, when I was saw your story on Facebook, you was telling us about um, how you were in different families. So tell us that backdrop of that.
Okay. Well, my mom had a drug problem, and my dad was a alcoholic, which led me to the foster care system when I was at the age of, I want to say I was 12 or 13. And my sister was 2, I want to say she was, yeah, she was 2. So we ended up in the foster care system due to my parents' drug abuse. And we stayed in the foster care system for about 6 years, I would say. And we have went to many, many, many different foster homes. A lot of the reason for that is because by me having a disability, there were a lot of parents that did not, or people that did not want that responsibility.
Hmm.
Um, Now the thing about it is what a lot of people didn't realize or didn't understand is that when you take a foster child that has a disability, you get more money for that foster
Hmm.
child. So there was some people that was hip to that and realized that and would take foster children in because they knew they would get extra money. And I was so they was like, okay, well we'll take her. But in doing so, I didn't always receive the best treatment. So
Mm.
um that's why I tell people, if you can avoid the foster care system in any way, shape, or form, do your best to avoid it because it's a broken system.
Hmm.
It really is a broken system. It really, really is. Especially for, I would say, for our children.
Hmm.
Um,
I see your awesome husband in the back.
yeah, he's
Hello to
supposed
him.
to be going to the room. You want me to
Hello,
hide
husband.
since you're flying through the interview?
Hello. Nice to meet you. He
Yeah,
checked.
that's my husband.
Yeah, he
Um,
is a he. I remember you talking about it on that other interview. I have to finish listening to that, but you spoke so highly of your husband, and so I seen him there.
yeah,
And as you were saying that you know, when you do have someone with
right.
disabilities in foster
It
care.
you would you disability population is the highest population of children within the foster care system. There's not a higher population
Mm,
there, but it's actually between children with disabilities and African American children are
hmm.
the highest represented population within the foster care system today. And a lot of that is because parents don't really know how to maneuver having a child with a disability or what goes into all of that. That's why I created my company to kind of help parents and children alike, kind of maneuver through the whole disability area, I guess.
Hmm. And I commend you for that. That is so awesome, and that brings me right into our conversation. Um, with that being said, and I've heard of people getting children that has disability because there's extra money and things like that. And so I want to ask you, LATREA, what has it been like being you from birth to current?
Ooh. no one has ever asked me that. Like anybody, I've had my ups and my downs. There are days that I love being me, and then there are days that being me gets on my nerves.
Mm.
I'm just gonna be, I'm just gonna be honest with you. There are days that I wouldn't want to be nobody else in the world. And then there are days it's like I get on my own nerves. Okay.
Mhm.
And me and my husband, we had this running joke about me getting on his nerves. I said, you know what? I know I get on your nerves. I said, 'cause I get on my own nerves. So if I get on my own nerves, I know I get on yours.
Uh-huh.
So, but it's been an experience. It's been an adventure.
Mhm.
Would I do it all over again? In a minute.
Mhm.
In a minute.
Because I noticed, and others might be seeing too, and I noticed just how transparent you are in your look. Some people try to hide their look, and you came on, and I've seen pictures with you where you were like you are now, and then you had a wig on. But just how safe was it for you to say, "Here I am, love me or not"? How
Well, you
safe was
know,
that for you?
it's so crazy because a lot of those pictures those pictures that you guys have seen, I just showed those pictures. Like I've had those pictures for I have been sitting on those pictures, and sitting on those pictures, and sitting on those pictures forever, and I was always ashamed um of them, and I think when I hit my mid 40s, yeah, when I hit 45, I was like, you know what? I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody anymore.
Yeah.
This is just what it is. This is take it or leave it. It is what it is. Um, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with it.
Beautiful.
But the
That's
picture,
beautiful.
I'm
Hmm.
sorry,
I said that's beautiful.
but the pictures that you guys have seen as it goes along with that interview or whatnot, I have never shown those pictures to anybody outside of my family. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I never like I would have been mortified. I
Mm.
would have been mortified to show somebody those pictures. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it is. It's me. There's nowhere to run from it, nowhere to hide from it. And then again, why would I want to?
Hmm.
Why would I want to? That's an experience that I had to go through to get here. That's
Yeah.
something that I had to endure to get here. And at the end of the day, whether we know it or not, it's not about us. It has nothing to do with
That
us. It has
is
everything to do with the person that's coming behind us. There's
hmm.
somebody that's coming behind me that's going to see those pictures and going to hear my story and it's going to say, you know what? She was bold enough and strong enough and courageous enough to do it, then I can do it.
So true. Have you ever felt you were accepted in society? And then the other part is, where do you feel you fit in most?
You know what? No, I've never felt like I fit in, ever. So you know what I did? I created my own.
Love it.
I created my own. And that's what I tell people. Stop begging for a seat at the table. Create your own table.
Hmm.
Create your own table. And that's what I did. I created my own. I stopped begging for a seat at the table. I stopped worrying about what people said. I just stopped. I said, you know what? I'm going to create my own. You don't want to give me a seat? Guess what? You don't have to. I'm going to create my own table.
I love that. Your daughter, the reason why I'm going to ask you this question here, has your daughter ever gotten any slapback from society because of your disability? And the reason why I want to ask that, the disabled community, I feel real comfortable in there. And I never thought that my mom was disabled until now that I'm an adult and I'm in my 60s. So my mom was born, well, I don't know if she was born deaf, but all I knew is that she was deaf from me being a child on up. And so I would always keep my mother close to me. You could say that I was ashamed. You could say that I was protective. But in my mind, I felt like I was protective. My dad, he could hear and talk. And he used to go to the school PTA meetings and different things like that. And so I would never talk about my mother. I wanted to keep her in a safe space. And so someone finally said, "Why don't you talk about your mother?" And then finally, we just kept going on with the conversation. And then that fatal final day that I didn't want to talk about it, and I told them that my mom is deaf, and they said, "Your mom? Oh, you're that deaf and dumb. Uh, she's your mother. Your mother is that deaf and dumb lady." And so I spent myself time when I was little. I can remember kindergarten, 1968, where somebody just started talking about me, about my mom, and I had a fight, and I was fighting from that age up to about 14 years old. And you know what I said to myself? It's your problem. It's not mine. It's not going to bring my mother's hearing back or her voice back. And I accepted that. And then when I started doing that, well, let me go back just a little bit. So my mom, with her being deaf, when we go out, she didn't have us the sign to her. In my mind now as an adult, she wanted to fit in. Like you said, you sat at your own table. And so I would say, when my mom would say hi, and then you heard a person being deaf, how their voice sound, and my mom didn't use her voice all the time. And when she would get ready to say something, I would say hi. So my mom would pull me to the side as we were walking along. She said, don't you ever speak for me. Don't you do it. And I stopped. So that's why I wanted to know, how did your daughter feel? What was the slapback? What did she have to hide you in a comfortable place, or how was that for her?
Um, no, she didn't. And I'm gonna tell you, it's funny that you asked me that because her dad has a disability as well. Her dad has CP, and her dad walks with a limp, and he has a speech impediment. So his disability was a little more severe than mine.
Hmm.
And I remember there would be times when we would go places, like when we would come to her school, and the kids would pick at her about, but they would pick at her more or less about her dad than they did about me. And I think because me, I'm the kind of person that I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to make you feel comfortable. And
Hmm.
kids are my thing. So look, I ain't never met a kid I didn't like. So if you're a kid, I'm going to walk up to you. I'm going to talk to you. Hey, how you doing? I'm going to engage you in conversation. And that's why, now I'm not going to say the kids never said anything about me because they probably did. But the way my daughter is set up, nah, that wouldn't have been good. One thing for sure, and two things for certain, and my husband can contest to this. She don't play about her mama. She do not
Mm.
play about her mama.
Mm.
She does not play about her mama. I remember, and her dad either, for that matter. I remember one time a little girl had teased her at school about her dad, having a speech impediment and walking with a limp. And she told the little girl, well, at least I have a daddy. And made the little girl cry. And so the teacher called me. And at the time, my name was Weiss. She was like, Miss Weiss, could you talk to Olivia? I said, well, what happened? And then the teacher explained to me what happened. And she put Olivia on the phone. I said, Olivia, did you tell that little girl she didn't have no daddy? Well, she don't. I said, Olivia, regardless of whether she do or she don't. That's not for you to say. Well, she shouldn't have been talking about my daddy. At least I got one. She don't know what hers is. I said, Olivia. So, needless to say, she does not play about her parents. She's ready to poke somebody's eye out, play dice with them. So she don't play about her. She don't play about her parents. She don't.
Wow. Do you feel that, because by you being a disability coach and bring awareness to the disability community. And I told you I fit in there because my mom, I wasn't the type that, you sit at school and there weren't disabled people. I would sit right with them. I wouldn't go away from the table. That is my community.
Right.
So do you feel with this society, and we're talking about inclusion, do you feel that you are part of that inclusion of today? They want to include everyone.
Um, no. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because a lot of people that meet me, disabled and able bodied, don't think I'm disabled. Like I get that all the time. Like even when I met my father-in-law, he didn't know I was disabled. And when my mother-in-law tried to explain it to him, he didn't believe her. So I don't think I don't feel like no, I can't say that I do.
Hmm.
Like I said, I'm back at my own table. I'm
Hmm.
back at but what I will say I do is I bridge that gap between the disabled community and the able-bodied community because I feel like I can what is it, code switch, I guess. I can
Hmm.
flop back and
Hmm.
forth so I can bridge that gap because I can come in as a disabled person and say, okay, as a disabled person, this is what we're trying to say. Then I can go
Hmm.
in as a non-disabled person, okay, but this is what they're trying to say, and kind of meet in the middle, so to speak.
That is so awesome. And I'm going to reset the room in a little bit, but just that is so often saying, I don't know how we would say it, but like bilingual. You could talk
Yeah,
between both worlds.
yeah.
And like with me, sign language, and then I'm in the hearing world and stuff like that. And I think with my mom, she wasn't in the community. Although she's deaf, she was more in the community of hearing community. And so for me as a child, seeing my mom cope in the hearing society where folks don't believe that she's deaf. They think she's ignoring them because she can read lips and they know she's signed, but they just say, she's not deaf. So I can kind of get what you're saying. So I'm going to
Right.
reset the room for those of you that just come in the room. Thank you for being here. Whether you stay a little bit or you come in and go back out. Today, my guest is LATREA Russ, and she is a disability coach, life coach. And as you can hear what she's saying now, she is going to be that bridge where she knows what our, we can say, our able community and our disabled community. Uh, you also thrive on showing endless possibilities. Tell us about that.
Um, Growing up, I can't was a bad word in my household. I can't. I can't do this. I can't do that. Now, of course, having a disability does give you certain limitations.
Mhm,
That's just what that is.
mhm.
But outside of those limitations, what we're not going to do is limit ourselves. And my mother would not let me do that. Like she would always tell me, you may not do it the way everybody else does it, or you may not get it as fast as everybody else will get it, but you're gonna get it,
Mhm.
and you're gonna do it. I remember learning how to ride a bike. Ooh, that was the funniest. I remember learning how to ride a bike. It took me forever to learn how to ride a bike. She took the training wheels off, and I just kept falling. It kept falling and kept falling and kept falling and kept falling and kept falling. And finally, I got mad and I kicked the bike. I said, I can't ride this stupid bike. And she was like, I don't ever want to hear you say what you can't do. You can't. You just got to practice at it. You just got to be determined to do it and focus and practice. And those are the words that I live by. I practice, I'm determined, and I'm focused.
Awesome. I'm going to reset one more time. For those of you who are looking on, if you have an Android, I can't help you. But if you have an iPhone, you'll see the comment section to the left, and going right, you'll see a camera and then a emblem with two people. And then there's a bubble with a question mark in it. If you want to give me a question or for her, ask a question, do hit that bubble with the question mark, and that way I can see your question. So you guys can go ahead and do that. Um, you said also, it's not easy living in this world that doesn't see you or hear you.
No, it's not. It's not. Um, Sometimes it feels like you're in this world and it's going on around you, and you're like just sitting there in the middle of it, and everything's just happening around you. And sometimes it can be very difficult because it's like you want to scream, hello, hello, hello. And it's like sometimes, no matter how much you scream, people still don't hear you. People still don't see you. That is why I go back to the whole I'm not begging anymore. I'm not
Mhm.
begging for a seat at the table anymore. I'm not begging for you to see me or hear me. I'm not begging for you to acknowledge my presence. I'm going to make a splash so big that you can't help but to see it. You're not gonna be able to miss it.
Mm.
That's just how big I'm gonna come. So it's not about because before, and I'm not gonna say I don't like inclusion because inclusion works for some people.
Mhm.
It does. There are some people that in the disability community, that's all they want. They just want inclusion. And that's fine. That's great for them. I I've always been a person that wants more.
Mhm.
I don't want just inclusion. I don't want it to be, oh, we're just included in the number. No,
Wow.
I want us to be looked at as a symbol of something different than just inclusion. I want us to be, okay, like, prime example. Have you ever watched, like, movies and TV shows and stuff that have people with disabilities in them? We're
Yes.
never the hero.
Never.
We're always the homeless person. We're always the person seeking help. We're always
Mhm.
the person needing to be helped. We're always the person that the big, strong, able-bodied person comes to save.
Mhm.
Why can't we be the hero?
Wow.
Why can't we be the hero in our own story?
Wow. I love that.
Why 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 does it take? And me and my husband have had this conversation so much. Why does it take an able-bodied person to come in and save us? Why
Hmm.
why why does that have to be a situation? Why do people only listen when an able-bodied person says it? A disabled person can say the same thing, but when an able-bodied person says it, everybody better sit up and take notice. But I, being a disabled person, has said the same thing for the last 3, 4 years, and nobody's heard me. But an able-bodied person comes in and says it, and everybody just sits up and, oh wow, why did we think of that?
Mhm.
I don't know. Why didn't you
Mhm.
think of that?
Mm. Question. Also, I talked to a guy, Theo. He is in the wheelchair, and he hates the word wheelchair bound. He said,
Mhm.
"I am not bound by my wheelchair." And so I'm going to tell you two quick incidents. The first one being that he said he was going across the street to get a donut, right? And then where he was coming from, he was at getting his car worked on. So where he's gotten his car worked on, across somewhere is where a nursing home is. So he said he went across the street to go get his donut. The lady from the nursing home come running out. Why you out here? Why did you're supposed to be in here? He had almost a heck of a time letting her know I don't belong there. I'm just going to get a donut.
Right.
Okay. And so that's number one. And then he said that when he's at the restaurant, and this is the question I have for you, when you and your husband at the restaurant, his wife, she's able-bodied, he is disabled. And so he wants to get his order, but they talk to her like he can't hear or do anything.
Well,
Do you have that going on?
I had that with my previous husband. because my previous husband had a speech impediment. And so I remember going into the store. Matter of fact, I remember going into Best Buy one day with him. And I don't know why I went. He just wanted me to come in there with him. So he went in there looking for some wires or something. I don't even remember what he wanted. So the salesperson immediately walks up and starts talking to me. And I'm like, sir, I'm not the customer. The one you want to talk to is my husband. You might want to talk to him. I'm not in here to buy. I'm just in here. I'm not in here to buy anything. Um, I've been in situations where my ex-husband, because he has cerebral palsy, one of his hands don't quite work as well as the other one. So it makes it hard to grip things sometimes. So one day we were in the drive-through at McDonald's, and the lady leaned out to hand the cup to to my ex-husband, and she went to grab it, and I guess when she saw him, it startled her. I don't know what, but she dropped the cup, and the soda and everything just splattered everywhere. I hopped my little butt out that car. I went into that McDonald's, and I said, look, I don't know who y'all got working the drive-through or what y'all got going on back here. I said, but that was very inappropriate. It was inappropriate, and it was not called for. Now, if you felt like you couldn't hand him that drink, then you should have called somebody else over there to that window to hand him that drink. But to drop it on the ground like that and allow all that stuff to splatter the way it did was not
Mm.
appropriate. It was not called for. So I've
Wow.
had several instances with him that has happened. Well, my current husband, oh no, that doesn't happen. Because my current husband will tell you real quick. He will tell you real quick. No, I'm the one that you need to be talking to. I'm the one.
He's not having it.
Yes,
He's not
no,
having
he'll
it.
tell you real quick. He ain't got no. I ain't got to say nothing. He will tell you real quick. Yeah, I'm the one you're supposed to be talking to, not her. I'm the one.
Wow. That is
So
so crazy. What do you think should what is your just saying, I'm not saying that you the cure to all, but what would you say to us able body in those instances of feeling like you're inadequate to answer your own question? What would you say to us? How can we better um how can we do better?
be patient. Patient. That's all it takes is a little bit of patience. And with him, because he has a speech impediment, you just got to be patient.
Mhm.
If you be patient with him and let him get it out, he'll get it out. But you
Mhm.
just got to be patient.
Mhm.
Like when we were married, I would take care of all the phone calls and stuff with him because he would try to call somewhere and he was struggling to get it out, and the person on the other line, the business on the other line, was not patient
Mhm.
and it would hang up.
Mhm.
So if I could say anything to an able-bodied person, patience.
Mhm.
Just have patience in certain situations.
Mhm.
And and I say this all the time. As a person with disability, I don't want special treatment. I don't want you to pity me. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I don't want you to look down on me. I don't want you to treat me with cotton gloves. I don't want you to do any of that. All we want is the playing field leveled. That's it. That's it.
That's awesome. That's
We don't
awesome.
want nothing else but the playing field leveled.
Mm. Let's see. Let me reset and see if anyone have any questions. I'm gonna look on this board here. I don't see any question there. Thank you guys for being in the room. If you do want to ask a question, there is a bubble. Like I said, if you have a iPhone, you'll see the comment section to the left, and keep going right. There's a camera, and there is a people emblem. and also a circle with a question mark in it. You can hit that and write your question. The bubble will come up and it will have where you can write your question in there. So far, I don't see any questions. Do tell us about your book, but I want to ask you the title of your book. When you said it's not what it looks like, I'm not doing that anymore. What were you saying? Were you saying that anything to us as a
No,
able-bodied community or what?
I think I think more or less I was talking to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think, especially the part of I'm not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That I was talking to myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, in the sense of I'm not taking nobody's nonsense anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking nobody's nonsense. I'm not begging, as I had said, and I think that's like been a running theme of this interview. I'm done begging. I'm done begging for a seat. I'm done begging for your approval. I'm done begging for your permission. I'm just not doing it. I mean, as a kid or a young adult, I should say, I did that. I did that for the first 20 years of my life. I spent begging to be accepted, and begging for a seat, and begging for relationships, and begging for friends, and begging for people to like me, and begging for this, and begging for that, and just turning myself inside out, upside down, to for people to like me or for people to be my friend. And when I hit 40, I was like, I'm not doing it. Mm-mm. We're done. We're done with that. We're
Mm-hmm.
done with that. We're not doing that no more. We're not doing that. Because if you can't like me for who and what I am and what I bring to the table, that's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's a personal thing. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Our time is coming up, and I wanted to thank you for being here. Your story, is it still on Facebook, your story?
Oh yes, ma'am. It's on the if you go to the unfiltered stories Facebook page, uh I think you gotta scroll down a little bit on the page. It should still be up
Mhm.
there.
Your daughter might be a tough question. Your daughter, she's able-bodied or disabled? Your daughter.
Um, depends on the day of the week. No, I'm joking. She has ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does depend on the day of the week. Um, she has her moments.
Mm-hmm.
She has her moments. And
Mm-hmm.
we work through it. We work through it. We work through it.
Awesome.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, work through it.
Like my mom is 11 of us. She had 8 girls with me and 3 brothers. And so she married my dad, who is hearing. And no offense to the disabled community, but my mom said she wanted an able relationship. She didn't want to be with a disabled person because she felt as though she wanted that security. She didn't want that. And so her growing up, like I said, being in the, I won't say growing up, but my mom is 89. She'll be, if Lord bless it, next month, 90 years old.
Oh, to
But
God be the glory.
yes, and so she wanted that security. And she also told me that she had prayed for all of her, I don't know if it's genetic, I don't have that type of facts, that
Hmm.
the person will be, she will have deaf children, but none of us are deaf. And so I remember, she never heard her children's voice. And I remember when she would just put her hand right here or on our back so she could feel the vibrations of us talking. And so she said she didn't want her children to be born deaf.
Yeah.
And so, in being in that community, and as you mentioned with your mom, my grandmother never treated my mom any different. She just put her out there in the community, hearing community. And that's one thing you wanted. That was the ultimate goal, to be deaf and know how to cope in the hearing world. But the only thing as a daughter that I wished I would have continued. I do know sign language. I know it more than passable, but not as efficient. But if someone is deaf in front of me, I can sign all day long because I'm brushing up on new words, and I'm more in that community. But with mom, I feel as a daughter that she missed out on that community, being inclusive into that community, but she was outside of it from being married and having children, so she was not in that community. But she taught us how to sign, and she made, like, you could say, she made some homemade signs, and also she was born in the South, so she knew Black American Sign Language
Mhm.
as well as ASL.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
just.
I went to a deaf college. I went to Gallaudet University. Um, and I learned ASL. I would love to say I'm fluent in it, but then I'm lying.
Hmm.
I can communicate well enough to communicate. And but the thing about it, it's funny that you say that your mom preferred to marry an able-bodied person
Yes.
because in the deaf community at where I frequent, it's quite the opposite. It's quite the
Mm-hmm.
opposite. They would prefer to marry someone that's deaf
Mm-hmm.
because they felt like they shared that commonality. They shared that culture. And being deaf, and I've explained this to a lot of different people, being deaf is more than just not being able to hear.
That's right.
It's a culture. It's a whole dialect. It's a whole culture surrounding it. And, yeah, but I have a good friend of mine, one of my best friends. I met her the first day of college, and she's deaf, and she ended up marrying her interpreter.
Mm.
Yeah, so but most deaf people that I know prefer to marry someone that is deaf, and it's crazy because some of them be the oddest couples. It's just like, how did she get with her? And they will say, she's deaf, I'm deaf.
Mm-hmm.
And we share that commonality.
And see what my
And there's
wow.
nothing else. Yeah.
I know with my dad, he didn't learn sign language, but they music. I used to see them like dance and stuff, and they
Hmm.
did music was their language, and he knew, her. I guess her body. This is me interpreting this. He
Hmm.
knew her body language, and he knew what she was saying. But he did. I guess you could say it's like you knew Spanish, and this is my interpretation again, and but you lost the language, and you could hear it,
Right.
but you just can't speak it back.
That's speaking
So
about
I
right.
think
And
he
the thing
could
about
see
it
it.
is that when you're married to someone for a long period of time, you
Hmm.
just pick it up. Like me and my husband been married now for 4 years. And my husband will start, like, he'll be in the bathroom
Hmm.
and he'll be talking to me. I'm like, I'm deaf. He said, oh, yeah, I forgot. You sure are. And that's just how that's
Hmm.
just how we do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or he'll ask me to pick up something off the floor. I'm like, I can't see it. Like, it's right there. I said, okay, you saying it's right there does not make it any clearer for me. It's right where. So, when you learn how to
Yes, yes.
around
That
stuff. So,
is so true. And I think that's what they do. They were married for 53
oh
years.
wow.
And yeah, and so with that, mom, she got a chance to do it. And so, different sign language, like I said, she taught us well. But I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for the other 10. I'll just speak for myself. Is that I just kind of ignored it. And then as I'm older right now today, and I see something on the TV, now they're acclimating, people who are deaf, and they have the caption across. But before the caption comes, I know what they're saying.
Right,
And I said, oh, I do know. I said, my mama taught us a lot of sign language. We just didn't do it back.
right,
And
right,
so that's
right.
just the thing like that. So with you, um, I commend you and I thank you so much for that, because we do have, like you said, in our disabled community, it's not you speaking loud, but we're just not hearing
Right.
you. And like you said, you made your own table and sit at your table. You're not begging for relationship. You're not begging for these things.
Oh,
And I hope that we do better as a society, and I hope that we can really be inclusive. Last question before we go: do you see others like yourself with the same diagnosis, or do you still have sitting at the table by yourself?
um, no, I have a whole community of people that have they may not have facial syndrome, but they have different facial disorders. Um, I'm not disorders, Lord forgive me. They have different facial differences.
Okay.
We have a whole retreat for children and families that come and bring their children. And you see these little kids that have what's called a cleft lip,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like split in the lip, and the lip goes up in the nose area.
Mm-hmm.
You have children that have these big wide foreheads like I have. You have children that just have all different types of different facial differences, and they go somewhere for a weekend, and they're allowed to be children.
Oh, I love
They're
it.
not stared at. They're not gawked at. They're not pointed at. They're allowed to be children. They're allowed to go swimming. They go bowling. They do the things that people, able-bodied people, take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
they do it without the ridicule of society.
Wow. You just brought back to my mind when I looked at your video on Facebook. You said that certain places or foster homes that you were in, you wouldn't allow to take a bath, sit anywhere. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, there was two foster homes in particular. Um, Now, the first foster home that this happened in, I was not allowed to sit in the living room. I had to sit in the bathroom because they couldn't stand to look at me. Um, I had to eat off of paper plates and drink out of paper cups and use plastic forks because they was afraid that I would contaminate their dishes. One time in particular, they went to the mall, and I wasn't allowed to go into the mall with them because they didn't want to be seen with me. So I
Mm.
had to get in the car, and that car was hot. I think I sat in that car for a good 5, 6 hours, and that car was hot. It was hot in there. Um, and then the other foster home I was in was, and this is the crazy thing about this particular foster home. These were people of the church. Okay, the male was an elder, and the wife sung in the choir,
Mm.
and was going to church every Sunday talking about the Lord and how good God is. And then coming home, they treating us like we're dumb underneath their shoe. So, and people would often ask me, did that taint my view of God? No, it tainted my view of man, but it never tainted my view of God because those are two separate entities.
Well, I love that you said that. And some people can't even like when their father leave or different common things that are said. They do go after God for
Hmm.
that, and that's beautiful that you didn't do that. This has been an amazing talk. I really thank you for being here. And I sent you an inbox. Hopefully, you can go on that other show that I have.
Okay, yeah,
But just look at your
I can check
inbox.
that out. I didn't
Yeah.
see it, but I'm gonna go back and read it.
Yeah, look in the inbox, and we'll talk about that and after you do that. But this has been amazing. Those on here, Florence, and all of you guys here, I have a hard time reading that. Thank you guys for watching. Do share, swipe, and share her story. And again, if you want to see her story, the was it Untold Story or
Unfiltered stories.
Unfiltered Story, and you guys will get the glimpse of that, and you'll see that on, is it, can they look it up anywhere or on Facebook only?
They can look it up on YouTube and they can look it up on Facebook.
On YouTube and Facebook,
Yes, ma'am.
Unfiltered Story.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
guys look at that, and again, Thank you, Coach LATREA, for saying yes. I thought it was going to be a hard time to get to you. And like I said, when I inboxed you, I said, "Are you a real person?" She said, "Of course I'm a real person." And she said yes. And it was like last week sometime. And thank you for cutting out this time. What would you like to say as a takeaway for those who are listening and replay and those who are on here now?
Um, don't lose your determination. Don't lose that fight. We all were born with a fight. We all were born with something inside of us that keeps pushing us and pushing us and pushing us when everything else around us tells us to stop. But it keeps pushing us. It keeps pushing us closer and closer and closer. Don't lose that. Don't lose that, because that is what's going to get you to your purpose. That is what's going to get you to where God is trying to get you to. That is what's going to get you to the place of I'm not going to say redemption, but to the place of
Mhm.
promise. That
Yes.
that's where that. So don't lose that. Don't lose that fight. Don't lose that determination.
Thank
It
you
gets
so
weary
much.
sometimes, but don't lose it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for surviving. And those who just came on, do watch the replay, do share, swipe and share. And thank you so much. And you'll get to hear a little bit more if you rewind it and see it. So thank you for being so amazing. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being you and unapologetic you. You are amazing. Thank you so
Oh,
much for
thank
being
you.
here. You,
Oh,
you're welcome.
I wanted to ask you,
Sure.
and I think as you were talking, the Lord dropped this in my spirit. You need to write a book
Mm.
about your mom, about you and your mom's relationship.
I do have it. I have the outline. I'm just not committed to it. I have the total book done and outline. I'm gonna have to visit that.
Yeah.
The book is up. The outline is already done. The chapters are already titled, and the character name for my mom uh, is Eudora.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And there's
That's
somebody named
beautiful.
Eudora in real life, and I didn't know it. It just that name just dropped in.
Right, right, right,
Eudora,
right.
Eudora Spivey.
Oh, that is beautiful. Well,
So
let
I
this
already
be
got it.
that. Let this be the nudge to get it,
Yeah.
to
Okay.
get it
Okay.
going.
Okay. I got the write up and everything already. I tried to hide from it. I didn't know you was gonna
I
bring
know you did. I know. It picked his head out at
it.
me.
Did.
It picked his head
Yeah,
out at
I
me.
do have it and it is outlined already. I just haven't put the words to it. But I do
Well,
have it.
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna be looking forward. Okay.
Oh, you doubled down, didn't you? Thank you
Cause
so
see,
much.
look, you gotta do something to hold your feet to the fire. You
I'm gonna
gotta be
do
some
it. You double
accountability
down.
there.
You double
There's gotta be
down.
some accountability there. Okay.
Okay, you double down. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You double down
Okay.
on me.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Have an
All
amazing
right.
day. I wasn't expecting that, but thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
Have an
welcome. You have a
amazing
great night.
night.
Okay.
You
All right.
too. And
All right.
look
Bye
at your
bye.
inbox. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye bye. Oh my goodness. Did she double down? Hit the X up top and it'll bring you down. She doubled down on me. She all in my business. Yes, I do have a book to the side. Just hadn't looked at it, and it is about me and my mom. So she doubled down on me. So I'm going to visit that and let you guys know about that uh, in the near time as I commit to it. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. Do share, swipe, and share. Um, we do have our October books open. And Florence, if you've already emailed me, Florence will be one of ours, but I'm just lightly putting that out there. And I don't know, Florence, give me a yes or whatever it is if you're ready. And let me know in the inbox or whatever whether you want to do the 3-day show or the 1-day show. And if you guys are looking to have a show with me, we do have a 1-day show. It is $75. We read your book in its entirety and we deep dive into your story. And if you want to do the 3-day show, we do like the first 3 chapters, but we've read the whole book and you'll get a honest book review. So also today is the Scout Out, was the Scout Out shout out. For the Scout Out shout out, if you're an author and you want to showcase your book, do inbox me here or email me at mrssuds@yahoo.com, because sometimes people are an author, but they're not ready to come up. So when you email me, that is a free show, a 3 to 5 minute. Unless someone is behind us, then we'll continue to go with the 3 minute. Thank you guys for being here. Have an amazing night. Thank you to our guest, Coach LATREA RUSS. Had an amazing time with her and look forward to more, to deep diving into her book, hopefully. And you guys have an amazing night. Bye-bye. Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Bye-bye.